day after Tamaduni Day. It is the 11th of October 2023. My name is Elijah Charles Kiage. There's another holiday coming up, also on the 20th. So it's going to be breaks until the end of the year. And for those who are counting, we are fully in the last quarter of 2023. Let's go back and look at some of the resolutions that you made at the beginning of the year. Do you think that you have fully achieved them? Yeah? Or resolutions is not a thing for you? Well, welcome back. My name is Elijah Charles Kiage. We took a tiny breather yesterday to also go and be part of the Utamaduni Day celebrations. Whatever it is you want to call them, it's up to you. But what I do know is that we are back then to push on today. Today, the big conversation is going to be around the creation of new constituencies. Others are earmarked for shopping. They're jitters in the National House because the same body that is supposed to reconstitute these constituencies or earmark the creation of the new constituencies is not yet formed. We are hopeful that the talks, the bombers of Kenya, will bear fruit. So we have an IEBC, a functional one, in that matter for February 2024, because that is the deadline for having that particular body fully constituted to look into issues like this morning. We talk about that in its entirety. Also on the sidelines of that, we're going to have soft conversations. Today being on a Wednesday, we're going to look at family life. We'll be telling you why men look for second wives or other wives. Conversation I'm looking forward to. For now, we take a tiny breather. Once we come back, I'll be taking you straight to your newspapers. So we get to see what it is that you're waking up to. Well, welcome back. This is the Morning Drift. Well, let's start with our Daily Nation this morning. So whether you want to call it Moi Day, Utamaduni Day, or whatever it is that you want to call it, the Daily Nation essentially went back. It's tell signs of them saying, well, this is Moi Day. We're talking about Moi's last days, all right? It's a book by Dr. David Silverstein, who was the doctor of former President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, who was saying that when former President Daniel Arap Moi started experiencing difficulty walking in 2017, it sparked concern from his personal doctor, David Silverstein, and his family. And thus began the deterioration of Moise's health that saw him flown to Israel for his final medical camp, religious trip, then followed the ups and downs in his treatment journey until he breathed his last in February 2020. Well, you can read about further details on this on pages 12 and 13 of the Daily Nation. Good. Essentially, on pages 4, again, there's a story here how RUTO's visit exposed the soft underbelly of ODM rebels. That story covered on page 4. Utamaduni, First Lady push for a national dress is something that is not the very first time that we've heard of this. It's coming back again. That particular story covered on pages 6 and 7. There's also news about how majority of the county governments are now calling for El Nino cash to be handed out in time. That is what governors are urging the national government this morning. Yeah. Also on the back page is going to read about how there's a bill now restricting foreigners to tenders over 20 billion vetoed. The National Assembly Committee rejection of proposed law that has thrown lifeline to Chinese firms. Good. Let's move on then to the Standard this morning. Well, you're going to read about how the two men in charge of the Kenya Kwanza government, that is DP, Rigathi Gachagua, and the president, are now facing Uhuru. Change of talk, essentially, from what was their campaign conversations. And if you look at that particular story that has been covered on page 6, they're talking about how RUTO saying that he must congratulate my predecessor, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for his oversight in coming up with this Kisumu shipyard refurbishment yard. To see what we are seeing here is phenomenal. Gachagua was saying that the elections are over. It's time to gather and unite our people. We have agreed that no leader will pelt former President Uhuru Kenyatta with their stones because he's still our son. And you can read that change of tact or change of a feeling then from the two premier on what they think about former President Uhuru Kenyatta. So on page 2, you're going to read about our NSSF's 2 billion Maya pepper land goes up in a smoke, and Kenya's race clear AFCON stadia hurdle. That is on pages 32, and azimio leader backs RUTO's move on ports. Pages 5, there's an audit CA told to recover millions from a senior team. A particular story covered on pages 4, and that story of the First Lady calling for a Kenya national attire. First Lady Rachel RUTO in green with other leaders and traditional dancers during the commemoration of Utamaduni Day at the Bomas of Kenya. That story covered on page 3. That's it. It's essentially what your newspapers look like this morning. Also on other areas as well. On our NTSA's rejected Bolt's license renewal on driver protests. A particular story, you're going to find it on the Business Daily this morning, and that's the biggest headline. We come back, I'll take you straight to your newsroom this morning. Welcome back. Statistics from the World Health Organization now shows that cases of mental health have risen by at least 25% compared to the year 2019. As Kenya joins the world in marking the commemoration of the day, the youth have been classified as the most affected by matters mental health, which has been attributed to lack of employment. Mevin Getembe opens a bulletin this morning.
As Kenya joins the world in commemorating World Mental Health Day, statistics from the World Health Organization WHO indicate that mental illness have risen by 25%, with the youth the most affected. In efforts to mobilize Kenyans to work on mental issues, leaders have been called upon to support and engage the youth in tackling the rise. Participating in music and arts has proven to be one of the strategies that have helped youth to overcome mental illness, with lack of employment termed as one of the main causes of mental illness.
So mi kwa art yangu kama dancer, mi hutumia dance kama therapy. Nikiwa na stress huko nje, mimi nakaa na banjo kidogo kidogo, nasikia niko relieved kidogo. So mi advice yangu, si hata advice, kitu naweza ambia ma youth hapo nje nisijifanye najua, lakini naweza ambia ma youth, cheki kama uko na kitu yenye unataka kuongea na msee, bonga tu.
To smile following the grants received from nominated Senator Gloria Oroba, which according to them will help them start small businesses.
Mtaani at least tunawaambia mazee talent inalipa. Mi kwanza mimi nilikuanga na at time nikiwa pale kabla nijitambue niko na talent, from tambua talent mtaani, hapo ndo nilijitambua kumbe hii kitu inaweza pay.
After that Senator ali come through, akatusaidia, akapeana little token appreciation kuonyesha ana appreciate talent ya vijana.
Mahitaji ya nyumba, mahitaji ya kifamilia. Basic needs wanavyosema kwenye lugha ya Kimombo, singeweza kukimu, singeweza kununua, singeweza kulipa rent, singeweza kufanya chochote kile. Akasema kwamba maisha yamenifika mwisho. Nilikuwa na mawazo, kila ambacho nilikuwa nafikiria kwanza ni kujitoa uhai.
According to WHO report on mental issues, 10 to 20% adolescents suffer from mental issues, and about 50% of the issues affect children of 14 years. Diagnoses for mental illness include depression, substance abuse, stress, and anxiety disorders. A report by WHO ranked Kenyan 5th among other African countries suffering from mental issues, while 2 million people suffer from depression and 1 out of 4 Kenyans have presented mental illness at a point in their life. Kenya is ranked number 114 out of 175 countries with escalated suicidal rates. According to the statistics, the youth suffer most from mental issues, and as Kenya commemorates this day today, their call to the leaders is to come on board and help them nurture their talents. Mavin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Mavin Getembe on that one. Now, businessmen in Maralal town in Samburu County held a protest over the increase in theft cases in the town. Led by area MCA Joseph Loloju, the traders noted that the protests have been brought about by the rise in the number of theft cases within the town, and with 25 shops broken into in a past week alone. Now, traders incurring losses amounting to 30 million shillings in a process. Traders now want security to be beefed up within the town.
Maralal town business was paralyzed for the better part of the day as members of the business community held demonstrations amid the growing number of burglary in the town. The businessmen and women are calling on the government through the county commissioner's office to intervene and ensure security is beefed up.
Kama wanabiashara wa Maralal, mahali tumefika, tumesongeshwa, tuko kona.
Mumeona kina mama, wazee, vijana, maduka zikivunjwa. Haya ni machungu sana kwetu.
Maduka yale yamevunjwa katika town ya Maralal ni maduka kama 5-6.
Maralal town MCA Joseph Loloju blamed the local authorities led by the county commissioner for not prioritizing matters security, promising to lead the demonstrations for 3 consecutive days to force the authorities to beef up security.
All the security operators, kama mko hapa kama hamko, basi muambie na mshike masikio. Wananchi wa Maralal wameongea kwa kauli moja na wakasema, tafadhali msiposimamisha muondoke, mtuachie kaunti yetu.
Nyumba 10 iwekwe na tupatiwa vijana wale wanahangaika kazi za askari ya usiku kushunga.
However, Area Deputy Commissioner David Murage noted that the county government is making efforts to beef up security, calling on area residents on information on the theft cases to forward the intel so as to help in curbing such occurrences.
Serikali haishukui hatua. Mpaka sasa tumefunjwa kama baada ya 2-3 weeks hivi tumefunjwa karibu duka 25 na approximately karibu 30 million zimepotea. Na hiyo ni hasara kubwa sana kwa wafanyabiashara. Tunaomba county commissioner Bwana Wafula aitishe mkutano very urgent meeting.
Janet Koech, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Kwa sababu tumeona maaskari wakiwa wanazunguka katika mji.
Let's move on now to El Nino preparedness. Now, the Narok County government, led by Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu, has commissioned an emergency and response center and a preparation of the El Nino rains following the classification of the Narok County as a red spot by the Met Department. Now, Beatrice Kahega now files. The Governor Ntutu noted that Narok town is one of the risky areas as a flash floods occur in the town every rainy season, with the county experiencing deadly floods, and at 2015 where 23 people lost their lives.
As the country prepares for El Nino rains from this month as forecasted by the Meteorological Department, the counties of Narok and Bungoma have already started putting in place measures to curb the effects caused by the heavy rains. According to Narok Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu, several areas in the county have been termed as hotspots, therefore necessitating early and adequate preparations.
Kaunti mzima Narok town imesemekana kila wakati ikinyesha mvua nyingi utaona kwamba watu wanasombwa na maji, mali inasombwa na maji.
Kuna sehemu kama Kachongo huko Narok East, kuna Kimedet upande wa Transmara, na hata hapo Rorkorian pia wala ambao wanafanya mining.
Referring to the aftermath of the heavy rains experienced in 2015, Governor Ntutu reiterated the need to take precaution to avoid more damage and loss of lives.
Na leo hii tumefungua hii ofisi, tuko na toll free number ambayo wewe mwenyewe mwananchi ukiwa na shida unapiga hiyo namba, alafu unaweza saidiwa mara moja.
In Bungoma County, the Director of Special Programs, Karen Wanyonyi, noted that there are areas in the county that have already suffered the effect of El Nino, calling upon residents living near riverbanks to relocate to safer areas to avert the risks of being swept away by overflowing rivers.
5 wards have been hit recently by strong winds, which are amongst the effects of the El Nino phenomenon. And we've had cases in Luandanyi, we've had cases in Bwake, we've had Kimgui, Misanga, Namatondoi in Bokoli ward, and we've also had some parts of Bumula being affected by the strong winds. And apart from the strong winds, we also have other effects like floods, which of course will come about by the anticipated heavy rain.
Wanyonyi has also issued communication lines to ward administrators to be used by residents to call for assistance from rescue experts during emergencies.
The communication line for incidences or scenarios related to the El Nino phenomenon are intended to be communicated through 0799 001100, and we also have a second line 0799 002200. And because we are partnering hugely with Kenya Red Cross Society, we also have their hotline 1199.
Beatrice Kageha, Lookuptv.
Now moving on, the effects of climate change far and beyond. In Kajiado County, a handful of women have resorted to crop farming despite pastoralism being the predominant in the region. The women, through small self-help groups, have ventured into crop farming, which is heavily dependent on irrigation. Many of them now open to practicing large-scale farming due to the success of their current projects.
Despite Kajiado being one of the pastoralist counties in the country, with heavy rains expected in the country, a handful of women have ventured into farming. Birika Kikonyoike ward in Kajiado West constituency, we meet a group of 22 women who previously into the milk business but have now ventured into smart agriculture. The women can be seen working hard in their small farming, an area classified as an ASAL region where residents primarily engage in livestock farming. However, the women have embraced the idea of changing the situation and learning about farming.
Mimi kama mama ya Kimasai siku anajua kulima, lakini kwa saizi nimekuja kulima, nimekuja kuelewa kulima.
Due to the effects of climate change, these residents have been forced to adapt to this pattern through formation of small groups in order to learn more about modern farming skills on crops such as yellow beans, onions, melons, maize, spinach and kienyeji vegetables like managu.
Ndio si mambo ya kulima. Na tumefaidika na hiyo mambo ya kulima, sababu hata hii kitu tumepanda hii kwa shamba hatujawahi panda sisi, hatujui. Na saa hii tumejua hii iko na faida, sababu hata itakuwa mboga. Sisi tulikuwa hatujui hii, lakini sasa hii nimekuja kujua. Kazi ya ng'ombe siku hizi hatuna kazi ya ng'ombe, sababu siku hizi mvua nyeshi na nyesha mara moja naisha. Sasa ng'ombe hafaidika, hatuna faida na ng'ombe kwa sababu hatuna nyasi.
Changamoto mingi sana ile tuko nayo eneo hii ni mvua, maji. Maji ndio shida sana. Otherwise tungekuwa na maji tungekuwa mbele na tungefanya miradi mikubwa. So maji ndio shida zaidi.
Bob Aston, the project officer, tells us that the move is aimed at encouraging the community to engage in farming. However, one will ask, what methods do they use to sustain these crops?
Most of the women have embraced this, or even adopting solar-powered drip irrigation. And so this for us has been a success story for us because of the number of farmers that we are seeing currently trying either to adopt solar-powered drip irrigation or even starting their own kitchen gardens at their homesteads.
Having learned new farming skills and putting them into practice, therefore being able to provide for their families through the sale of their farm produce, the group members are excited, noting that the project has helped improve their family's diet habit and enriched nutrition. Bridget Agola, Lookuptv.
Two men aged 38 and 39 tragically lost their lives after 150 feet deep gold mine, the one in a collapsed in a Ikolomani constituency, Kakamega County. Now the two succumbed due to lack of clean air. Area Member of Parliament Bernard Shinali called on the miners to be wary and take caution as they mine, especially with the onset of the El Nino rains.
Grief has engulfed Masianza village in Ikolomani constituency after two middle-aged miners succumbed inside a 150-feet deep gold mine shaft due to lack of clean air. The two, aged 38 and 39, tragically lost their lives as they were mining.
Na tuko na mkasa hapa kwa wachimbaji migodi wawili wamefariki wakiwa kazini na wamefariki kwa sababu ya hewa mbaya katika shimo. So kwa hii shida yote hatujapata usaidizi wowote kutoka kwa serikali, kwabu hata hizi compressor zimekuja sio za serikali.
The residents, led by chairman of gold miners in Shinyalu constituency, has said the two individuals suffocated while mining within the shaft.
Kila siku tukienda mikutano, serikali inasisitiza wanahitaji 50,000 kwa kila shimo na pesa za license, lakini hakuna msaada hata kidogo tunapokea kwa serikali. So tunashindwa, hii serikali haja yao ni pesa tu na hawana msaada, kwa sababu hata barabara ya kuja hapa ni shida.
Geomba serikali yetu ya kaunti pamoja na serikali kuu mtusongee ili mtusaidie, kwa sababu tukipata mkasa hatuna mashini ya kutosha. Hata mashini ndio mfanyia saa hii tumetoka tu kuomba ya mtu, na lakini kwa kaunti mzima hatuna mahali tumeweka mashini, tukipata shida yenye naweza kutusaidia.
The Member of Parliament for the area Bernard Shinali, who arrived at the scene, urged miners to take precautions, especially now as the nation expects the El Nino rains.
Tuwe waangalivu, tuwe tunaweza ingia tukiwa tumejihami, tukiwa na oxygen, tukiwa tumeangalia pia hali ya nyuta ambazo ziko hapo ndani, tujue ya kwamba ziko timamu, ili hali yetu ya safety ikwe tumeiwekea kipao mbele.
Tafadhali vijana wale mnafanya hiyo mining, whether mko chini ya wawekezaji wale investors ama mko peke yenu, tulieni kidogo, wacha mzimu wa mvua iende, alafu hapo nyuma hapo mbele karibu Disemba muanzishe tena hii mkakati ya kufanya mining.
The bodies of the two were retrieved through the efforts of miners and moved to morgue at Kakamega General Hospital awaiting an autopsy. Ruga Eval, Lookuptv.
Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs Musalia Mudavadi now says achievable solutions must be considered both refugees and the host communities. Hence, the government transitioning from camps to integrated settlements under the Shirika plan in a bid to counter the issue of refugee influx in different countries. The Prime CS is in Geneva, Switzerland for a series of meetings aimed at finding transformative approaches for refugee inclusion and their role in promoting peaceful and prosperous societies. John Matava with the details.
The tour to Geneva, Switzerland comes barely a week after Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi was under the mandate to lead the foreign affairs docket in the recent cabinet reshuffle by President William Ruto. The Prime Cabinet Secretary stated that achievable solutions must consider both refugees and host communities, hence the need for the government to transition from camps to integrated settlements under the Shirika plan.
I carry with me the wisdom of refugees and host community stories that are a reminder that Kenya's history is intertwined with migration, challenges, and opportunities.
According to Mudavadi, Kenya has been home to over 80,000 refugees and asylum seekers, supporting them in returning to their countries of origin to rebuild their lives and nations.
Kenya has assisted over 80,000 refugees and asylum seekers in their voluntary repatriation efforts.
According to Jonathan Jackson, the UN resident coordinator in Kenya, the program has to jointly align with other key stakeholders for facelift.
Beyond that joint programming, we of course need to align with the support that will be coming from other actors, from the US, from the EU, from the World Bank, from the private sector.
John Burugu, the Commissioner for Refugees Affairs in Kenya, noted the importance of having a recognized documentation for refugees like ID cards and prior learning.
Identity card
as a document that one can use to access services.
The Shirika plan involves a wide range of sectors, including education, water, sanitation and hygiene, health and nutrition, livelihoods, self-reliance, social protection, environmental management and energy, agriculture, housing, land and property, and other durable solutions.
Hosting communities in Garissa, Turkana and urban areas by mobilizing additional financial, technical and material support in the spirit of the responsibility sharing and enhancing refugee host community.
John Matava, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
First Lady Rachel RUTO led the country in marking the inaugural Utamaduni. Let me take that again. First Lady Rachel RUTO led the country in marking the inaugural Utamaduni Day celebrations at the Bomas, noting that it is a day to honor and celebrate the cultural diversity, rejoice in the country's ethnic diversity, and bridge the gap in our traditional backgrounds. Now, the public holiday formerly known as Moi Day was initially renamed Huduma Day and later Utamaduni Day in 2020. Utamaduni Day is marked by diverse celebrations that showcase Kenya's cultural richness, promote unity and advance economic development through cultural performances. The day brings together all of Kenya's ethnic, linguistic and racial groups to share in music and dance.
Pomp and color. Spectacular traditional dances and music extravaganza. And a touch of African epic food preparations going back to ages and a unity in sharing marked this year's inaugural Utamaduni Day celebrations. An event that brought on display Kenya's rich cultural practices at Bomas of Kenya, with such shows spread across the country.
In diversity, we have unity. In diversity, we have strength. In diversity, we are indivisible. We also recognize that without culture, our identity is not there. So our culture is our identity.
It is truly a privilege and a great honor to speak to you on this occasion that celebrates our diverse cultural heritage, beliefs, customs that make up our beautiful country. On this inaugural nationwide celebration, we embrace the spirit of unity that our cultural diversity weaves, transcending time and reminding us of the strength found in our diversity.
First Lady Rachel RUTO, who was chief guest today, marveling in the performances.
The government is dedicated to promoting all forms of national and cultural expression, including literature, the arts, traditional celebrations, science, communication, information, mass media, publications, libraries, buildings, and other forms of cultural heritage.
This year's celebrations, one of a kind, themed celebrating unity in diversity.
Utamaduni Day presents us with an opportunity to bridge the gap between our diverse backgrounds. Each region of Kenya has cultural norms such as traditional dress, unique food, and a variety of languages, to name but just a few.
The First Lady has called for innovative marketing strategies that promote the country's culture while preserving and safeguarding its intellectual property.
As we celebrate this day, let it be a reminder of our commitment to loving and supporting brand Kenya and our diverse cultures. Let us take the initiative to explore different counties, immerse ourselves in their unique cultures, and contribute to the growth of domestic tourism in our great and beautiful country.
For a country that is so rich in diverse cultural practices, this year's Utamaduni celebrations has set precedents for epic future cultural displays. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Country marked Utamaduni Day with an inaugural celebration held at the Bomas of Kenya. The Kakuma Sound cultural dance troupe capitalized on the opportunity by entertaining local and international tourists at the Kakuma refugee camp in Turkana County. Gaila Luda features the group, which is sponsored by UNESCO and UNHCR.
Kakuma refugee camp, Turkana County, where we meet Kakuma Sound cultural dance troupe that has been making headlines for its unique approach to attracting tourists with a dance troupe made of individuals from various backgrounds. Tina Tuma is the CEO of the group.
After hii tunaweza tengeneza exhibition center ambaye wageni watatoka nje kuja kuona vitu ambaye iko kwa kambi. Wasifikirie kambi tu ni mahali wa refugee wanakaa wajiezi. Tunataka kufufua kambi ikuwe tourism attraction center where mtu anatoka Amerika kikuja hivi anakuja kuona Kakuma hizi culture zao ziko nini na nini. Hizo vitu tunataka kuonesha.
They have united to share their stories and traditions with the world. Tourists who visit the camp not only enjoy the spectacular performances, but also have the opportunity to learn about the refugees' lives and challenges that they have come to overcome.
Kuwa na sherehe ya Kakuma Sound kama wakimbizi wote hapa hivi Afrika, na Kakuma Sound imetufurahisha kasi sisi wa Afrika wote hapa hivi kujua matamaduni mbalimbali. Kuna Somali, kuna Oromo, kuna Sudani, yote tumekusanyika hapa hivi kuweza kujuana na kuweza kujua utamaduni wa kila kabila ni gani na gani, na tunashukuru sana kwa kuwa Kakuma Sound imeweza kutusaidia sisi wa Afrika.
Nyamali Vinta, a refugee from Sudan, says in addition to dance performances, the refugee have set up a craft market where they sell their handmade goods from jewelry to clothing, offering tourists a chance to take a piece of Kakuma's culture home with them.
Tengeneza hizi tunauza. Kinunua ndio tunaenda kulipa wa mama wale metengeneza.
What has been even more remarkable is that the project is being sponsored by the UNESCO and United Nations High Commission for Refugee Camps. Alo Dagail, Lookuptv.
Now on to our last story this morning. Here at Lookuptv, we've covered a story on a worker from hell, where a family is looking for a worker who essentially read turmoil in the family. Let's take a look at that story.
Tragic with an employee murdering his boss. In a bid to unravel the events that led to the heinous act, we set foot to Ikuruma village, Kitutu Chache North constituency in Kisii County. Cloud of sorrow, a somber mood engulfs the airwaves. We are welcomed to Mary Kompoke's homestead in Kisii County with tears of agony. It is a bizarre yet a disturbing incident that left residents in disbelief, a quarrel that emanated from a 2,000 Kenya shillings. The accused says the deceased grandchild had stolen. Sharon, not her real name, the grandchild to the deceased, narrates that the main suspect, Bernard Gwaro Nyaseti, an employee at the deceased homestead, arrived while drunk, lamenting about his 2,000 shillings that he says Sharon had stolen. An argument between him and his employee's child ensued. It is when the argument became heated that Mary Komboka decided to intervene and solve the dispute between her grandchild and her employer, Bernard Gwaro Nyaseti. Little did she know that the intervention could leave her dead.
Akaambia wabeti mimi nitoka shule nikakuja nikamwibia pesa zake kutoka kwa room yake pale alikuwa analala. Ndio akakuja tu, baba akamwambia simuulizi saa hii, utangoja hadi kesho ndio nimuulize. Akamwambia, ndio akashika akapasulia simu yake huko jikoni. Ndio after kutoka hapo akatumwagia maji moto, ndio akashika akanatuchapa, nikamsukuma, zile nimemsukuma ameanguka huko kwa dirisha. Nikaenda kushika baba mkono tutoke nje, akatusukuma tena tukaanguka chini. Nikapata space ya kutoka, nikatoka nje, kwenda kupiga nduru kwa alikuwa anachapa na baba hapo tu chini.
As if it was not enough, the now alleged murderer Bernard Gwaro Nyaseti sent text messages to Charles Nyauga, the child to the deceased, and also a DCI officers. Messages that Nyauga to inform him of his mother's death. Messages that Nyauga reveals to us. According to Nyauga, the suspect vanished without a trace after committing the heinous act, forcing them to report the matter to the nearest police station, where a manhunt commenced leading to his arrest.
The deceased ambao ni mamangu anaitwa Mary Kwamboka Nyauga. Nilipokea habari za kifo chake kutoka kwa mwenye alimuua. Alinipigia kitu kama 8:30, akaniambia nimeua mama yako, na akasima simu. Baadaye kama saa 9:45 in the morning akanipigia simu tena, akaniandikia message, akaniambia nimemuua mama yako. So mimi nilikuwa niko Mombasa, nikatoka tukaanza kumtafuta huyu jamaa. Tumtafuta the whole day. Tulikuja kumkamata kitu kama saa 11:30. Wakati tulimkamata, tukamuoji, tukampeana kwa DCI Kisii Marani. Ndio sasa yako korokoroni mpaka leo.
With the pain of losing their mother for 2,000 shillings, the family has been left pleading with the government through relevant authorities to expedite investigations and accord justice to their mother.
Kitu tunasema DCI wafanye uchunguzi wao wa haki.
The body of the deceased has been preserved at Kisii Referral Hospital, while the suspect is being held in Rioma Police Station to aid the officers with the investigations.
Well, this was the last place where the deceased spent her last moments before her life was cut short. The DCI, Directorate of Criminal Investigations, had launched investigations as the accused still stay in custody. Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv.
Well, that particular story there by Mevin Getembe then ushers us into our next conversation this morning, which is essentially going to be around the conversation on a creation of new counties and constituencies in the country. It's a debate, by the way, that has already put 67 counties that have been earmarked for that particular chop or scrapping that we're talking about. But you gotta know essentially what the Kenyan law essentially states about creation of new constituencies. And even as we speak, there have been a lot of support. We've even seen Thika Town Member of Parliament Alice Nganga drafting a bill to prevent the scrapping of the 67 constituencies during a boundaries review. Now what we do know is that the REBC right now is not fully constituted then to get into this particular exercise. But should they then get out of that particular exercise, are these 67 of them essentially then going to be scrapped? Once we come back this morning, let's table that conversation in its entirety. You can actually be part and parcel of this conversation at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kenya Gasimba. The hashtag is Morning Drift. Once we come back.
There is a biblical quotation that says, whoever gives to an orphan lends to God. Today was a great day for us. We have received and hosted a wonderful and great team from Tatua Tatu who have come to make a day brighter for these kids and for our beneficiaries.
I thank you, Tatua number 3, for coming. May God bless you, and the gates of Rafiki are ever open, and you are welcome and welcome again.
Are you looking for experts in waterproofing systems, concrete admixtures, flooring systems, refurbishment solutions, roofing, sealing and bonding, and building finishing systems? Look no more, as Sika Kenya got you covered. With over 113 years of experience, we offer our customers a comprehensive one-stop shop experience and the best technical support. Our products are available in all leading hardware stores and building merchants across the country. Call us today on 0711 140 232 or 0786 140 834 or email us on sales@ke.sika.com. Sika Kenya, building trust.
Are you a civil servant and looking for financial breakthrough? You can now apply for the salary check-off loan from Juhudi Kilimo, a solution that is available for salaried employees that have a check-off agreement with Juhudi Kilimo. All you need is 3 months latest payslips, a copy of your national ID, one recent colored passport photo, and your KRA PIN. For more information, call us today on 0709 692 000 or send an SMS to 20103 at no charge. Juhudi Kilimo, investing in farmers, transforming lives.
We got good news for you. You have the opportunity to win up to 100,000 shillings cash money from Kuza Bees. It's easy to participate. Just open M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa, account number 825454, account name right, Lookuptv, then deposit 99 shillings only. Remember, the more you participate, the more the chances of winning. Hurry now and be one of the winners of the Daily Cash Awards.
This game is BCLB licensed and is not open to persons under the age of 18 years. Play responsibly.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
As the night falls, we come to life to bring you a comprehensive broadcast from the numerous events happening across our 47 counties.
When it breaks, it matters, and each story is important.
If it's Thursday, join me, Nancy Lima, and my able panelists as we break down the law jargons and analyze the Constitution in a way only you can understand.
The news cycle never stops, neither does time. We cover each and every sector and present to you factual and accurate occurrences. This is where facts win the day. Join me,
Nancy Lima,
Ian Keitani, Tuesday, every Wednesday,
Thursday,
as from 9 p.m. on The Insight, only on Lookuptv.
Hi, and welcome to Tujenge Home. Your number #1 show when it comes to all things architecture, real estate, property development, interior design. You get it right here on Tujenge Home. When the food is ready.
You want to serve them?
Dinner is served. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Beautiful, wonderful, glorious. We are having the show that we share entitled Shepherd Voice.
I'm waiting for you to get me to Kenya. That's what I'm waiting
for you.
God is the source of every blessings that flow into your life.
And I know that God is going to bless you and to do a new thing.
Pray. Pray.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi.
Kaini kitako tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana bebi na majina mengine matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine. Itakuwaje? Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Malkia?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu ni mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza, kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Christ for All Nations Evangelism Alliance, in conjunction with Dagoretti Sub-County Bishops and Pastors, welcomes you to Festival of Hope, Healing and Miracles, which will take place at Dagoretti, Nairobi County at Ndurarwa Grounds, RUTO, next to CDF, from 11th to 15th of October 2023 from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Come and experience great ministration from Evangelist Nia Seris from United Kingdom, Evangelist Billy Jenkins from USA, Evangelist Jackie Ford from Australia, and Evangelist Michael Job from the USA. And our guest artist will be Anastasia Mukabwa. Come and receive hope. Come and receive your healing. And come and receive your miracle. God is waiting for you.
Want to expand your business today or attend to an emergency? Gisort na Logbook Loan, a business loan solution that allows you to leverage your logbook as security, making the application process both efficient and easy. You can borrow up to a maximum of 1 million shillings, processed within 24 hours with a repayment period of 24 months. All you need is your original logbook, original ID and KRA PIN, 6 months bank statement or M-Pesa statement, and comprehensive insurance. For more details, visit any of our branches near you today or call us on 0709 692 000 or send an SMS to 20103 at no charge. Juhudi Kilimo, investing in farmers, transforming lives.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookup TV, your official SME media partner.
Did you know that 17 women die every day in Kenya during a childbirth? We lose about 39,000 newborns due to preventable conditions like malaria, neonatal sepsis, as well as diarrheal diseases. And guess what? These deaths of mothers and newborns, they are both preventable. RUTO Care Box is an organization that's extremely passionate about reducing maternal and newborn deaths using a simple box, a simple public health initiative that is a box, and life-saving education.
Today we are at St. John's Hospital here in Githurai. We are here in conjunction with RUTO Care Box.
Mimi ya leo kwanza ni kushukuru RUTO Foundation wakiwa pamoja na RUTO Care kwa sababu ya kuangalia mama wetu.
I really feel very honored by RUTO because I never even thought anybody could think about us, the way you have done. And thank you very much.
Lucy, we just want to tell you from RUTO that you're one of our first Shuja.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the RUTO Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
Praise the Lord and Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. My name is Pastor Joseph. I'm from a ministry called Reconcilers World. God gives strength to the weary. I am, Jesus is speaking. He says, I am the door. Then he says, anyone who enters in through me will be saved. The Lord is my shepherd or shepherd. Then he says, I will always have everything I need. God desires to guide you. He's telling you that this day, don't just trust the Lord, but he's telling you, trust the Lord widely.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi. Na ukiwa na njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv. Every Sunday unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
Welcome back to the Morning Vips. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiagi as we wait to get into that big conversation this morning over the creation of constituencies and counties debate. Let's then look at exactly what the top stories this morning are in terms of what you're waking up to in your dailies. We did highlight them this morning, and I'd like to just get a flashback of those stories. The Standard is the one that essentially has the stories that we're talking about this morning about Professor Uhuru. There's a story here that after spending 5 years bashing his predecessor, the president and his deputy appear to have a change of mind and are heaping prices on a man they have loved to hate. What is afoot and why they changed? That particular story has essentially been covered on page 6 of the Standard this morning. And the other story that we're going to talk about this morning is how RUTO's visit exposed the soft underbelly of ODM rebels. That story covered on page 4 of the Daily Nation. And joining us this morning then to get into this conversation, it's Nabiso Brand. Nabiso, how are you doing, sir?
Hey Elijah, good morning.
Good morning. I want to open up the discussion then with this story on the Standard about facing Uhuru, that after spending 5 years bashing his predecessor, the president and his deputy appear to have a change of mind and are heaping prices on a man they have loved to hate. What is afoot and why the change? Let me just read for you this quote from the deputy president, a man who's been quite hitting the president, is saying, the elections are over, it is time to gather and unite our people. We have agreed that no leader will pelt former President Uhuru Kenyatta with stones because he is still our son. Now, this was quite a change in tone from the deputy president. Is it a change completely? And what do you think is behind this change of tact from the DP?
Good morning, Elijah, back there in the studio. And I've seen a lot has happened last week, and we are also seeing a lot of reactions from people in regards to the shareholding issue, between the shareholding issue, which has since for long been propagated by Deputy President and you know, Elijah, what we know, the president being the symbol of national unity, we expect that at the moment he saw in and took power of office as the president of the Republic of Kenya, he is the president of everyone. Yeah, not a single, whether those who voted for him and those who did not vote for him. Now, this issue of shareholding, and I think it's now the deputy president is facing the toughest time in his office, because for him, I know he expects that the country will continue being run the same way it has been. It has been in the past 15 or 10 years, whereby only those people who voted for the government enjoys the gist of the government, which an issue which has condemned by many leaders, many key people in the country, the church, and so on. Yes. And Elijah, these are some of the issues which has led to some of the problems we've been having in this country. Like, after the election, people will really fight that there are people in the government, because they know the moment they don't win or they are not part of the government of the day, what happens? They will not get the services of they will not get the services of the government. Now, it forces them to go on the street to ensure that they get a bit of powers. On this one, Elijah, I really want to be with the president. Actually, he is the president of every individual. Yeah.
That's it. But Nabiso, the question being, this change of heart from even the DP, it looks as if it is a tactical move for political mileage at a time when there have been questions about whether it's got the leverage politically in the country.
Yeah, it's true. Elijah, when this happens, let him embrace. Yeah, let him embrace this act whereby they work for every Kenyan. Yes. And for him also, I think he will enjoy that mileage as a deputy president who really ensured that every part of the country received the services. Yes. Enjoyed the government services, unlike whereby he is there but propagating for a share government where he needs only a few individuals to enjoy, or a few regions to enjoy. Actually, this change of heart, Elijah, I agree. It gives a good mileage to him as well.
That's it. But I want to read for you the sentiments also of the president last weekend when it was actually this weekend when he was commissioning the shipyard in Kisumu. He said that I must congratulate my predecessor, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for his foresight in coming up with this Kisumu shipyard refurbishment yard. To see what we're seeing here is phenomenal. Nabiswa, people saying that, well, because he was in Raila Amolo Odinga's staff, he had to speak the way that he spoke so that he could appease the followers of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Okay. You know, Elijah, if you see, if you analyze deeply, yes. The president has always had a header turn or header language which appeases different regions. Yes. You see, we have seen the president when he's in Western Kenya, he will speak exactly what the people of Western Kenya wants to see. When he's in coast, he will just use the tongue and wordings which exactly the people of the coast want to see. Yes. And you see, when he was at Kisumu, he exactly used the same words that people of coast want to see. Because you see, President Uhuru, in his last term, he really worked hard and made a lot of trips to Kisumu and Nyanza at large. And he left office when the people of that region are in his heart. So when he goes there, he has to speak in a language that really appeases them. Because also, why I'm saying so, Elijah, we have seen the president, President William RUTO, when he's in central Kenya, he will say a lot of words which he cannot use when he's in Nyanza. Like, yes. Muganga, we don't want to talk, you see? And I think he will really speak in support of the dialogue when he's in Nyanza. Something he cannot speak while in Nyeri or Rift Valley. So he's actually using the language that a particular region wants to see, Elijah.
Pretty much. So Nabiswa, I want you to weigh in then on these two sentiments from this gentleman, because Rigathi Gachagua is speaking overly about what he thinks the relationship between the government and former President Uhuru Kenyatta should be, but RUTO is speaking specifically on some of the projects that the President Uhuru Kenyatta started. Do you think there's a clash in their view of President Uhuru Kenyatta?
One, you see, at first, you know, the president being the symbol of national unity, that is one. Two, yes. When they were formulating the budget for this year, the chair of the budget, that is the MP for Kiharu, Mheshimiwa Ndindi Nyoro, clearly said that they are not going to abandon the stalled projects. And most of these stalled projects are the projects from the previous regime, Elijah. So yes. what the president actually is doing is moving to ensure that these projects are going on. And you cannot handle that project without mentioning the person who started those projects, Elijah. Yes. You really have to appreciate him for actually having a mind that such projects should be in place as we are continuing, but we need to also acknowledge the person who was behind those projects. Now, on the side of the deputy president, you see, we have seen the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, sometimes, and many people have really condemned him of his reckless talking and so. You know, I still feel he's still in that mood whereby he was taking in the campaign mode where he was taking the president, the former president, head on to make sure that they replace him. You know, so what the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, is really has to transform. Actually, if I may say, he has to transform and understand that right now we need service delivery. He should go back to that tone during the next campaign, not now.
Yes.
Because he's doing a lot of undoing, and we know between him, the deputy president, and his mouth, the two are really clashing a lot.
Yes.
Right now, Elijah, there are a lot of issues that this country needs to be done, and we think that every office holder in the executive needs to actually talk the talk of development and working for this country, but not attacking or japing the person who is not in office.
That's it. Nabiso, just to clear your sentiments on that. I want to point you out to some of the allegations that have been made that Rigathi Gachagua feels like he's losing out the hold of the central part of the country, and he feels like the only way in is to go back and appease one Uhuru Kenyatta. The president, might not like that, essentially, Nabiswa, in the run into the 2027 elections.
One, Elijah, we must acknowledge that for you to be a regional kingpin, and this is what I think the deputy president is really trying to do, is to ensure that he takes a strong stand as the regional kingpin for Mount Kenya.
Yes.
And for you to do that, you need to ensure that all the leaders, opinion shapers, all the who in the community are rallies behind you. Now, for Mount Kenya, you know, there is a president. It's a region which has produced several presidents, and currently they have President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has just been their political kingpin, and he still commands the kingpinship of the region at large.
Yes.
Although we may say that he's retired, he's out of politics, now Rigathi Gachagua being the second in command, he really needs to work to ensure that he becomes the regional kingpin, and he needs President Uhuru Kenyatta most than ever, to ensure that he stands a bigger chance to be the regional kingpin. Now, another issue which is really affecting him, you see, he is not in terms with all the elected leaders from the region, which actually has not done it well. And we also know this one now, when he requests to have talks with the former president, something which I think doesn't augur well the current president, because of the period he just came out of, that is the previous election. You know, the relationship was not so good, even if the deputy president himself said there is no issue, but we know there are issues. You know, you support someone for both terms, then he doesn't give you support, he supports your closest competitor. It didn't sound well. Something that I feel, Elijah, it doesn't sound well to the president when Rigathi Gachagua requests that he needs to have a talk and a discussion with the former president.
Pretty much. Nabiso, I'd like to take you to a story that is just related to the same story that we're speaking about this morning, about how Ruto's visit exposed soft underbelly of ODM rebels. And I'll take you back to page 4 of this daily. And this is what they're saying this morning, that the 4-day tour may have been the best opportunity for the leaders who broke ranks with Azimio leader Raila Odinga to demonstrate to the president that they are valuable team players in their new assignment of wooing their supporters to his side. The newspaper is saying that, well, those who broke ranks with ODM essentially did little to show that they want to work with the president upon his visit to the Lake region. Do you agree?
I really agree with the sentiments of the newspaper this morning.
Yeah.
And you know, these guys, and Elijah, we really have to know that you know, even all these members of parliament who are from ODM who are working with the president. One, before we look at that story, we have to acknowledge that these people are pretty well. They are very, very much sure that the Raila Odinga is not going to buy in the next election, or even if he buy, he will not have that a lot of charisma and maybe impact in the coming election. So there are people who knows that we have to move to the side of the president to work with him. And we have seen when he was there the kind of welcome and the reception, welcome, and how the Chad people were in welcoming the president. Actually, it shows that these people are really ready to work with the president. And also, you see, even the previous regime, the region actually experienced a lot of projects. That is after the handshake. Before the handshake, you could literally see the president, the sitting president goes there, unless you remember one time it was in Homa Bay. Was it in Homa Bay where the fracas, the event, it didn't go well. The fracas came up, someone threw a shoe at the president. But right now, the president went there, he launched the project, including this approval to waive or to write off the debts owed by the sugar millers, which is a very, very, very important thing to the farmers from those regions. And it's clear that these people are really working with the president. And, only that one. Those MPs now, they are taking a lot of credit. They'll say that now for so many years, we've had sugar millers which have been having debts. But right now, we went to there, you see the president is here working for us. He has waived. You see, now it sends a very, very good message that these people are ready to work with the president. And even the region itself, we didn't hear any clashes of fight backs. When the president visited that region, the people were so receptive, and they cooperated with the president during the four days tour, which is a very good thing, and it sends a very good signal that the people of Nyanza really wants to work with the current government. And it's something good actually from the people. And it also sends a message that we are past the election period and it's time to work. We have to support the government of the day.
Yes. Yeah. I want to point you out to something that happened. So let's talk about this story. They said that the leaders include Siaya Deputy Governor William Oduol, Kisumu Senator Tom Ojienda, members Paul Abur, Carola Mundi, Elisha Odhiambo, Mark Nyamita, and Gideon Ochanda, and Felix Odiwar. This is exactly what happened, that in majority of the places that they went to, some of them were even shouted down. They did not speak that much. They were not given a proper reception, showing exactly what their constituents feel with them working directly with the president. And the newspaper is saying they never did their homework. They didn't know the tact to use to show the president that they have support on the ground, Nabiso.
Yeah. It's something. It's expected. Our democracy in a way is still very strongly based on the fact lines. And you see, if the Nyanza region, more so Kisumu, they went to the heart, strongly in the heart of ODM party.
Yes.
Now, and these people have seen. They have been considered as the rebels, the party rebels, and the people still feel that ODM is our party. Now, the only fact that these guys are not loyal to our party and our party leader, it's an issue. It's an issue which really people have not come in terms with. But it's true. Maybe they didn't do their homework well, because to the point that people shouts at you. You need to organize. You need to organize those crowds well, but very well. Because so far we have seen during the last regime, the former governor from Migori, I think he's one person who used to do his homework well when he was working with the deputy president. The deputy president could go there, but you could not see much of those jeers or being shouted at, because he knew, and there is how he planted his crowds well in terms when it came to speaking and addressing people. So these guys, actually, there is still that factor where we are much driven by our parties, and we feel anyone who is not within our party is or who is seen as a rebel is not with us. But now the event, I could still see it was a successful because the tour on the side of the president was okay. Only for those leaders from that area who faced a problem. But still going forward, Elijah, I believe, and I believe these people will have a strong ground. The moment, only if Raila Odinga will not be running for president, these people, you will see majority of them being elected, and it's like the electorate will feel it's okay because now our person is not on the ballot. They will not have a big issue during that time.
Pretty much. Nabiswa, there's also a story here, or you could say it's an opinion essentially, that has come from what we've seen the president's tour in the Lakeside region essentially being, would you call it a political tour or just a development tour, Nabiswa, from where you're seated? And if it was a political tour, would you term it a success, going by how majority of these rebel ODM leaders were booed throughout or treated like throughout the entire of that session? Nabiswa, I gotta tell you, in some other places, they tried to speak and they were told to completely not speak.
I will possibly term it as both a political tour and a development tour. You see, Elijah, even if the president, what he's currently doing, a good percentage of his thoughts is thinking about 2027. He really needs to, he doesn't want to get that tough time during, when it comes to the next general election. So what he's doing right now is going to those regions, and you could see in every region he does, which didn't vote for him, he will go there, launch a project. After launching a project, he will ask the people, tukutane 2022, mutanikumbuka. You remember last time when he asked the people of Homa Bay that niliwawon. You remember the famous birth of this term, niliwawon. You see, these are political terms. So when he goes in those regions, he's going there with two things. I'm going to launch projects. I need to show these people that I am with them by launching several development projects. But secondly, I also have to leave that region with a signal that kindly in 2027 be part of my team, so that we can form this the second term government together. Don't be left behind. So this is what actually the president is really doing. Both the development and political tour. It is.
Does it? There's the talks about him trying to weigh in on how the region is going to vote. And Nabiswa, you would help me understand again what political power that the president might be seeking from the Lakeside region, knowing very well that they will support whatever side leans on Raila Amolo Odinga. He went right ahead to say that in 2027 it's just going to be about him and Kalonzo, with supporters essentially then putting him RUTO versus Kalonzo. Do you think that was proper from the president, saying, well, in 2027 it's just going to be about me and Kalonzo, so know where your vote essentially is going to be?
Still, at the moment, even if it's still so early, I might not, it's still too early to make those assumptions that it will be Kalonzo versus RUTO, because we really, it's very hard to understand this man, Raila Odinga. We may say that, but maybe he still has now the real last bullet for 2027, which might still be there. But ideally, looking at him, Raila himself, I don't think he's going to be there, factoring in the age. And you see, even in the last electioneering period, when they were campaigning, he really, I could see even himself struggling with that energy, bigger, running from one campaign to another. And I still think there are still some few percentages whereby, which is below 50, that Raila Odinga will be running, But the person now, because you can see all the most of the activities for Azimio, they are centered around Kalonzo Musyoka. So maybe there is a probability that they are preparing Kalonzo Musyoka to be the presidential candidate for that side. Now, this is now where the problem will come in, Elijah. I can assure you, Elijah, that if Kalonzo Musyoka will be the current Azimio presidential candidate, believe me, that he might not get past 50% vote of the Luo Nyanza. And even you, Elijah, I know you will not, and even from your region, you see, the Nyanza region has really stood with Raila Odinga, voting them, and that support will not be there if he will support Kalonzo Musyoka, because even those people are tired, Elijah, and they want, since 2002 is when they really supported someone who won the presidential election. These are almost now, around 20 years. Almost 20 years, they have not supported someone who have won the presidential election and went to the State House. So if Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, believe me, those people, the good people of Luo Nyanza and his people who have voted, that is Luo Nyanza, that is Kisii region and a large part of Western Kenya, will also want to vote in someone who will win the election so that they can feel, they can experience the feeling of having someone who have won and gone to the State House. And this will be a very big blow to Kalonzo Musyoka. And already I've seen people now saying that we have those who are saying we will stand with Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. And the other day I was having a discussion with some good friends of mine from that region who really reminded me of what happened in 2007. They said if it were not the betrayal of Kalonzo Musyoka, directly Raila Odinga would have won that election. So it will not be easy for Kalonzo Musyoka to get to get such enormous support from the region as Raila has commanded so far. So it will be a plus for William Ruto, and considering that right now he's making some inroads there, making some good friends and doing some projects for the people, so that when he comes, during that time he will say, this is my project, this is what I brought, and give me another term, I'll give you the best out of this project, Elijah.
Yes, pretty much. Some other stories that I really want us to look at this morning, just before we let you go, Nabiswa, is just on issues touching on Utamaduni Day. Just on a slight note, Nabiswa, there is the elusive search for a national attire, and First Lady has brought up that particular story. Do you believe that Kenya needs to get a national attire, Nabiswa?
I don't think so, that we need to have a national attire. You know, Kenya, Elijah, we have a diverse culture, and every community has a lot of culture, their attires, ornaments, and whatever. Yes. So what we need to do is actually to ensure that we give a platform, or we support to ensure that there is an environment which will grow the national culture from various communities. Because now having a national attire, it means that now we are going to dilute our culture, or it will erode away several cultures of our states, of our different communities, which is not the best thing for us. The only thing is let us embrace several cultures and have a platform where there is a respective ministry to ensure that we support those cultures by having museums and all those all those centers, to ensure that we really have a way of celebrating every diverse community. Like yesterday, Elijah, it was an Utamaduni Day. It's something that now it should have been an event whereby all the communities with their cultures will have come together to showcase their cultures and support them. Yeah, you see, other than now having this narrative of having a national culture. Yes, now if there is, I still feel you've seen in some of the international events, you see someone turning an attire made of the Kenyan flag, and you see this is something that unites all of us. But now if we say that we need a national attire, if you think of Maasai, you see, you know how their attires look like. You think of Kikuyus, they have ears. You think of the Samburus, they have ears. So does it mean that we are going to do away with all these ones so that we can have a single one or whatever? Which is something that I will really not buy, but I will really support. For us to embrace various cultures from our 42 or 43, 44 communities.
That's it. That those of the view that having a national attire would also help bring us together, Nabiswa. Give us a common identity.
Yeah, it will bring us together, but so far so good. We have several national symbols of national unity.
Yes.
We have our national flag, we have our national anthem, we have our coat of arms. This is enough to bring us together. But Elijah, if I ask, have this thing been well brought us together? I'll still, if the national flag, the flag as the symbol of national unity, our coat of arms, our national anthem, so far so good. I'll say that it has not given us that togetherness. So do you think an attire will do that? I still believe it will not.
Yes.
Because Elijah, we still live in an era whereby you have to ask me when I say hi, Elijah, you have to look first. You say, no, is this a Kikuyu, is this a Luo, is this a Kisi, is this a so and so. We are still identifying ourselves in those lines. Still, I feel that one will not really achieve that national unity per se, as having an attire which looks like a national. So far, the language itself, it's a national unity. If we meet in town a leader today, we will speak Kiswahili. First we'll say, this is a Kenyan. It has already brought us together like a Kenyan. But there is that remaining one thing now, which will clearly distinguish between me and you. That is where I come from, and the local, my second or third language, local language, which will do us away. So this one will really not serve the purpose of, will not serve that purpose of uniting Kenyans by just having an attire, a national attire, which will make us know that this is my fellow Kenyan. It's a good thing out there in terms of putting Kenya on a national flag, like on an international map. But I don't think it will really serve that purpose of uniting Kenyans as such.
Pretty much. Nabiswa, there's a story here that we have to look at, and you will tell me whether it's just a change of tact from the government. The issues of the ports of Mombasa, they were a very big issue when both sides were campaigning in the coastal region of Kenya. And now it looks as if the government is agreeing with what the opposition was essentially campaigning for during the elections. The port of Mombasa was a big issue, with the president promising that the port has to go to the locals, or the locals had to run the ports. But then on the Standard this morning, there's this story about how Azimio leader is now backing RUTO's move on ports, with RUTO saying that some services or some service delivery in those ports have to be privatized for efficiency, which essentially negates the promise that was during his campaign. I mean, is it campaign talk essentially over? Because Raila Amolo Odinga this morning is also congratulating the president for taking that particular route.
Yeah, it's true, Elijah. You know, our campaigns are always centered on what Elijah and Brian wants to hear.
Yes.
Wants to hear, but it's not purely centered around what we achieved or what people want to do. So it was all about what do people want to hear? Because the people of course really wanted to hear that the port would be back to us. The people of so now when the campaigns are over, most of these leaders usually comes back to their senses. Yeah. usually comes back to their senses and realize that we have to do the right thing. You remember the story around Kenyatta University, around the Kenyatta University land. You see, the government was strongly against releasing that land or giving out a part of it to this international organ. But right now, they are the people who are really supporting it. So it was a campaign period. It's now over, and the leaders realize that we have to do the right thing for the people.
That's it. Do you find it a bit strange that the president is congratulating, the opposition leader, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, is congratulating the president for that particular move?
Yeah, it is, and so far we've heard a lot. We've heard a lot on insider leaders that there was a handshake talk between we don't know much, but you see, the fact that the leader of opposition has toned down on some of his strong stance and supporting the president, actually, in a way, it makes us agree that there were talks. Maybe there were secret handshake between him and the president, and maybe each one of them, each party got their fair share out of that talk. That's why we can see clearly the leader of opposition and the president praising one another and giving each other loads of congratulatories on the undertakings. So this is something, actually it gives me a proof beyond doubt that there might have been talks that has led to this soft landing and soft heart towards each other.
That's it. All right, as we clear this morning, Nabiswa, there's a story here that I want you to just get your 2-minute sentiment on it as we step out. Governors are calling for a quick release of El Nino funds. I mean, there have been allegations of even some counties then planning to even buy boats to be used during this particular period. Nabiswa, what's your view on this? Do we need to release El Nino funds to the counties?
Something that a leader on personal level.
Yes.
From the word go,
yes,
this issue of funds, county government requesting release, it's a good thing, in terms of preparedness towards any unforeseen event. Like right now, we've been told that we are going to experience El Nino in October. Yes. So it's a good thing for us to be preparedness. But why should the county government get those funds when we have a national, what do we call it? The National Disaster Management, a whole department for those tasks. These are the organs which should be well equipped to ensure that they are ready in regards to any eventuality which will come. The county government, the problem is they have seen, I think, Elijah, it's a good thing for them to be prepared. But these funds, when they get they get to them, most of them will use it in other ways. And Elijah, this issue of the El Nino, we are really prepared that it might come. But also, we have seen, we were told right now we are in the mid-October, but God has been so gracious. We are seeing a lot of sun, it's sunny, and the weather is not that per se. So, as they call upon for these funds, and you can see most of them are misplaced priority. Why should we buy a boat, Elijah? We know for what. So it means it will flood like the Noah's period in the Bible, so that we will be floating high there. It's not okay. Like you walk around, like here in town, you will see a lot of drainage systems blocking. There are all blockages all over. These are some of the things that the county governments will have done. Say, look, whatever funds we have, we've done this. We've tried to unblock the drainages in terms of any flooding and all sorts of money. But I think the National Disaster Management Department should be well equipped, other than adding the county government money, because we all know how these counties use the money. It's not in an appropriate way. Yes. So let the National Disaster Management be well equipped in preparedness of the El Nino raids that we expect.
pretty much. Nabiswa, thank you very much for taking your time to speak to us this morning, sir. Always appreciate speaking to you every morning.
Thank you, Elijah, for having me.
Anytime. That's why we take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we come back, we continue with our conversations this morning.
Today we are hosting the RUTO Foundation as they do a food distribution to the community.